What is going on, everybody? Quamii here, and welcome back to another Escape From Tarkov Beginners guide video. So I decided to do another PvP guide video for everyone, and I'm going to be talking about something very specific. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how to fight against squads or against multiple players at once. So the title of today's video is A Guide to Playing Solo, How to Solo Against Squads, and How to Fight Against Squads. Now, I've titled the video like this because I am primarily a solo player and I want to teach other people how to become a solo player too. And one thing you're going to have to inevitably learn as a solo player is to learn how to deal with multiple players, especially at the same time. But honestly, the things I'm going to be discussing in this video applies to everyone and not just solo players. But because I'm going to be doing more videos in regards to becoming a solo player, this is part of it. So I'm going to be doing a small series of Escape From Tarkov videos, which will be guides on how to become a solo player. People have asked me to do this video because they have told me that they feel like they can't ever play solo and they can only play when they have at least one teammate. And the reasons that they give me are things like they feel more comfortable knowing someone is watching their back, they are scared of running into a squad, they don't know how to deal with a squad, they feel like they have better chances of getting their gear back when they have a teammate, so they'll go in geared, but when they play solo, they won't go in with anywhere near as much gear, and this is essentially because they are scared of losing their gear, more or less. If these are the questions that sound familiar to you because you've been asking them to yourself or to whoever, then this video is the one that's going to help you out. And one final note, if you can beat squads, you can beat everyone else on the map. Think about that for a second. Think about all that potential loot. Before we begin, don't forget to like the video and give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it already. Subscribing helps me out heaps, guys, so if you wanted to help support the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. You can also drop by the live stream and say hello sometime. I stream 6 days a week at twitch.tv/Quamii. All other details will be in the description box below. Now we got all that stuff out of the way, let's get into it. Alright, before we get into examples and play-by-play scenarios, we have to establish some basics first, and I'm even going to tell you my secret to how I deal with squads so easily. So there is one fundamental thing that I always do when I'm fighting against a squad, and this alone is what makes me win the majority of my fights against them. It's what people keep asking me all the time when I get into a fight and against a squad and I end up winning. They're always asking me, how the hell did you survive that? How did you do it? If that was me, I would have died in 2 seconds. So, this is the secret thing that you gotta do every single time you're fighting against a squad. You have to isolate them and fight them one-on-one or one at a time. That's what you gotta do, man. That's the winning formula. You do that, and fighting against a squad ain't nowhere near as difficult as it was before. I'm even going to show you how I do it when we go through the play-by-play analysis clips in the video later. But you might be thinking to yourself, why is it important to isolate each player? It's because you will end up taking too much damage or an overload of damage, and chances are you'll end up dying. Think about it like this. Let's say you run into a 4-man squad. All 4 of those players start shooting at you at the same time. That's 4 different sources of incoming damage that you're going to have to take and hope to survive. Even if you are wearing class 6 armor, you're not going to be able to withstand 4 different types of bullets coming at you. Nah, I mean, you might survive for a couple of seconds, but more often than not, you're going to be dead. You're dead, okay? So you can't let that happen to you. You have to fight them one-on-one. You fight them one at a time. Then all of a sudden, it's manageable, isn't it? Because you're fighting one guy, and there's only one source of damage coming at you at once. You get what I'm saying here? You see where I'm going? So that is the main thing that you got to do in order to beat a squad. Other things I'm going to tell you is it doesn't really matter what gun you're using. What's more important than the gun is the ammo. Make sure you're using pretty decent ammo. Don't cheap out on it. The ammo is without a doubt 100% worth it. Unless, of course, it's the start of the wipe, then therefore just do your best with whatever ammo you can find. Another thing that I find is really important is to just straight up attack them and be aggressive, especially when you've caught them off guard. Taking a moment to establish their exact numbers will help, so you know exactly how many people you have to deal with sometimes, but even then, sometimes in the moment, you just happen to run into each other, just boom, on the spot, and you're just forced to fight an engagement just right then and there. That will do for now, and I'll teach you more things along the way, but we should probably jump into some play-by-plays for a deeper explanation. Let's go. Alright, so here's the first play-by-play clip of the video. I'm rocking an MP7 with a DVL on woods. I love this combo, by the way. This is one of my favorite combos ever, MP7 and DVL. And I happen to spot a 4-man team running up in front of me. They haven't quite spotted me yet. This will happen to you a fair bit. You'll happen to see a big squad. You're not really sure what you're supposed to do. You're trying to think about it. What's the best way to attack? What's the best way to go about this? So I'm kind of playing a cagey and trying to ascertain their exact numbers, so I know exactly what I'm dealing with. So that's what I'm doing. I'm waiting for them to run past. I could have started this fight at any time with these guys, but I chose not to because I chose to get their exact numbers first. One important tip to remember when fighting as a squad is this. If you happen to get the first kill on your first initial burst when you shoot, then that is big. That is a huge determining factor that will increase your chances of winning greatly. It's even better if you get multiple kills in your first burst, but getting one alone is a bonus. Usually what I will do is I'll get the first kill, then immediately reposition to get me in a spot to be aggressive and attack the rest of the squad. I think I stayed in this one spot for too long because I think in the moment I thought I could potentially get another kill, but they ended up spotting me and then I went into aggressive mode with my MP7. This will happen to you. You will happen to stumble upon a squad and they don't see you just yet. If this is you, then you need to get that first kill. It's the first step to winning the fight, and then you can play it by ear after that. So I ended up getting this first kill over here, which was big. That certainly tips the fight in my favor a little bit more. So I decided to reposition and flank around to the right to come up from behind them and try and get an angle on them from the hill. I don't think they were expecting this, so I thought it was a good play. I throw a grenade right here, just trying to throw them off, and maybe I can get them to scurry, and as they're running, you know, maybe I can hear them and that sort of thing. So as I'm moving up here, I spot them running to the right. They don't even want to fight me, as you can see. They're trying to run away. I take some shots at them with the MP7. I get behind cover. There isn't much cover here. I mean, these trees are like skinnier than me, for Christ's sake. But I'm trying to get cover. I quickly use a Probatol. I also noticed something right here, and I'm gonna pause it right here for a second here, ladies and gentlemen. So you see this nade that I just threw? This nade is not going to kill him. I know this, but I mean, it could kill him. He literally has to stand still for it to kill him, but chances are it won't, right? But I'm not counting on that. The point of this nade is so that he gets isolated from the rest of his two teammates, which are in front of me to the right, because we saw them running to the right, yeah? So I know he's going to be occupied running in the other direction away from his teammates, and he can't do anything until that nade blows up before he can actually go and reposition to try and help his teammates. So I'm going to take advantage of that time, and I'm going to push and attack his two teammates, because I know he is isolated from the rest of his group. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and attack his two teammates right now. I'm moving tree to tree in order to close the gap. I know it's not much cover, but you got to do the best with what you got sometimes. I kill the second player here, and as I'm going back to cover, his teammates start shooting at me with what it sounds like is a suppressed MP5. Now that the third player has shot at me, I know of his exact location now. I know he is directly in front of me at the tree next to where his teammate just died. Take note on where and how I position myself here in this next fight. Do you see how I've positioned myself here? I've intentionally put this tree directly on my left in order to give me cover from the final player who I thought was still on my left. Turns out the last player was right in front of me, behind this player right here that I've killed, but I didn't know that until afterwards. But that was my mindset and what was going through my mind at the time, and how to maneuver and position myself. And it worked out because I killed the player in front of me so quickly that I was able to get behind the cover of the tree real fast, even though the last player was taking shots at me. I quickly run to the other side of the tree and I commit to the spray down with my MP7 and I kill him. Boom. 4-man squad down. So a few things happened there in that fight that made it possible for me to come out victorious over this squad. I got the first kill. I immediately flanked and changed my angle every single time, so I was never in the same spot. I used a Propitol in order to give me the painkiller effect and to recover my HP back because I was bleeding. I threw that nade that helped me isolate that player, which helped me split up their squad. I attacked them aggressively and pushed, which didn't give them any time to get comfortable and set up good angles to hold on me. And I moved from tree to tree to close the gap to use the advantage of my close range weapon, the MP7. I think that pretty much sums up the first clip. Now it's time to collect some of that hard earned loot and move on to the next raid. Alright, here we are on Interchange, rocking a 5.56 DT MDR with a hammer scope, and we are walking through the underground parking lot that has the Idea store directly above us. As I'm trying to make it into the mall, I once again run into another 4-man squad looking fairly geared. I tried to go prone with the hopes of getting the first initial kill, but I felt like there wasn't enough time before they move, so I decided to instead get up and flank around to the other side in order to cut them off. As I'm attempting to get ahead of them, I hear them moving directly in front of me. As I'm scoped in and slowly moving around the corner, I finally spot them. They seemed very unaware, moving along very nonchalantly. I've seen this happen a lot in this game, actually. When people are running around in a big squad, they tend to let their guards down a lot. Completely oblivious a lot of the time. And they get overconfident because of their superior numbers, and they tend to drop their guard. And you, the player, can take advantage of this and attack. They will once again get confused and get boggled up, and you can take advantage of that confusion. Not to mention, they will be out in the open a lot of the time when this happens, and they'll be trying to scurry to get to cover. So I take my first initial shots at them, and they were all lined up nice and neat for me, and I thought I would have at least gotten one kill here, but I actually didn't kill any of them, and I was so surprised that none of them died. I'm trying to reposition to try to get eyes on one of them, but unfortunately I'm unsuccessful. I throw a nade to try and force one of them out of hiding, but I didn't manage to get the kill. However, when I threw the second nade, I got pretty lucky and I happened to get a kill there. So that's 1 down and at least 3 to go. Take note on how I keep changing my look and changing my angle every single time. I'm never in the same spot for very long. I'm constantly moving. I know I've got at least 1 nade left, and we just heard a player behind this red shipping container directly in front of us. So I'm going to throw a nade in that area, and then I'm going to move left in order to try and get a shot on him. So as soon as I get that kill, I'm trying to jump on top of this truck just to get different angles so I can get a different view, so I can see over the containers. I spot him, I take a few shots at him. As soon as I'm spotted, I immediately dip to the left to try and change my look once again, and then I commit to the spray down because I spot him and I ended up killing him. And there you go, another 4-man squad down. So another side note here, guys, once you've spotted a squad and you got a pretty good idea of the numbers, count the bodies, for crying out loud. Sometimes this happened to me before where I see a squad of 5, I kill 4 players, immediately in my mind, oh, I've won the fight, but I haven't counted how many that I've killed, and then what do you know, player number 5 is right there, sitting in a dark corner, baiting the bodies, and he kills me. Is that my fault? Yes, it is. I should have known better, and not to mention I should have cleared all the corners, and I should have counted, etc, etc. So don't let that happen to you. Count the bodies. Alright, so this one is an interesting one because this one gets a little too close for comfort. In this clip, I'm rocking a suppressed RPK and I'm trying to hit up dorms. As I'm looting jackets, I hear players running up on the stairs outside to the 3rd floor. I let some shots go, but I'm unsuccessful in securing a kill. I heard the second player come up the middle stairs, so now I am aware that there is at least 2 players in the building. I couldn't quite get the second player kill as he came up the stairs, which is unfortunate, so I decided to back off to the balcony to create some space between us. I threw a nade down the hallway, and I know this nade isn't going to kill him by any means, but on the plus side, this nade does two things for me. First of all, this nade forces them back so they can't push me, and essentially keeping them in place. Secondly, the noise from the nade will muffle the sound in that area, so it'll conceal my movements for my next move, in which I'm attempting to do. My plan was to jump off the balcony onto the stairs and then move up behind them real quickly, but of course I botch it and I mess it up and I break my legs. So there you go. I didn't break my legs, but I hurt my legs. Anyway, so instead of going up through the stairs, I decided to just jump through the window outside after I healed my legs a little bit. And it's worked out because I happened to catch one of them off guard as he is holding the bottom floor looking the other direction. He had no idea what was going on or where I came from. I honestly have no idea why he was holding the bottom floor the way that he was and looking the direction that he was. The last call from his teammate should have been that I was on the 3rd floor. Like, I don't know, man. Some people just play this game weird. So here's where it gets a bit strange. We're fighting for a bit back and forth, and we're both throwing nades. I keep changing spots, and I finally decide to make my move. I also wasn't sure if there was another player on the 3rd floor, so I quickly decided to run up there and check that before I'm coming back down a second. Now here's what I'm talking about. As I pushed, I ended up getting a bit stuck between the jump over and the door, and he literally takes out the majority of my limbs. So I'm in a real pickle here, and I'm bleeding on top of that. Now, I need to tell you guys something. I know that the gun that he's using is an MP7. It's one of my favorite guns. I know the sound of that gun. And I know this because I've gotten to the point to where I know the majority of the gunshot sounds in this game and what kind of a gun that they come from. You, on the other hand, may not be able to differentiate the difference between the sounds of the gunshots. The most an MP7 magazine can hold is 40 rounds. That's 40 bullets. And I can hear this player reloading a fair bit. I'm listening to him reloading. And I'm listening to how many shots he has been shooting, so I know a rough estimate of when he has to reload. And that's when I decided to push and close the gap and go in for the kill. I did something really good here, and he did something really stupid. What he did was he's trying to spam that wooden door right in front of me with his MP7 with these at best 40 round magazines. And some people even use 30s or even the 20 rounders. God knows why the hell they would use that, but some people do. He's trying to spam that door when I'm probably like 7 feet from him. I'm very close to him. So he just has to reload once and I can just push him if he doesn't kill me from his wall spam, which is exactly what's going to happen. Yeah? So that's why you shouldn't be spamming that with such a low magazine count in his gun. If he had like an RPK or something with 60 rounders or an M4 with 60 rounds, it's a different story, but not when you got like a short magazine like that. So what I did that was good was I kept using the hallway and the doorway behind me, and I kept ducking in and out between both of them to use that as cover. And he couldn't see me doing that because of the wooden door here on the left was obstructing his vision. So I use this Probatol, I'm ducking in and out between the two rooms, and then once I hear that he's reloading, I go in and I push him, and then I go in for the kill to finish him off. As you can see, I've caught him mid-reload, which is exactly what happens when you keep spamming and the other player is very close to you. I think it's at this point exactly where he's finally realized what's happened, and now he's kicking himself for it, and he's screaming to himself, oh god, oh god, what have I done? Well, he did it to himself. He got himself killed. There you go. And he's dead. So sometimes these things can happen. It looks like it's a bad situation and your chances of winning are slim, but if you make the right moves, you can still come out on top. So never give up, keep fighting, and always look for ways to win. So I hope by now you guys have noticed that in every single fight so far, I have been fighting them one-on-one and not all together. The isolation is key. Alright, so this is going to be the final clip of the video. This last clip, unfortunately, has no audio, which kind of sucks, but sometimes when you download your VODs from Twitch, it's missing some audio, and I do apologize for that. But this fight is worth sharing with all of you because of how it goes down. It's really straightforward, and it happens super quick, and it's an awesome fight with good things to talk about. This final clip, I am rocking an NP7 with a PKO6 sight. This time, just the NP7 and no DVL. Sorry guys. So I've pretty much just spawned in and I'm running straight towards the entrance of the Idea store, the main doors, and I happen to spot a huge squad incoming on my left. One of them takes a couple of shots at me, fortunate for me that he missed, and so I immediately get behind the bus for cover. The first thing that I do is I get inside the bus and I have a quick look at how many there are. I see at least 3 players running straight towards me. I take out the first player and then right afterwards I immediately exit the bus and run to the right to peek the right side of the bus. Here I am doing something that I've talked about in other videos called changing your look or changing your angle. Every time you are spotted, I change my positioning, I give them a different look. His teammate who just died will be calling to his teammates, "Oh, there's a guy in the bus, left side inside the bus." And by the time they react to that information and look inside the bus, I am no longer there. And that's what I mean by changing your look. I've already moved to the outside of the bus and I had just killed the second player. After killing the second player, I once again change my look and start sprinting to the other side of the bus to isolate and attack the third player. I spray him down and he dies easily. As I was fighting the third player, I heard a fourth player running up to the front of the bus near where I killed the second player. So here I throw another one of my positioning nades. So if you don't know what that is, it's a nade that probably won't kill them, but the nade itself forces them to do something. It forces them to take an action. So here I am throwing the nade to the right hand side of the bus. He can't stay where he is because he'll be dead if he does. He can't run to the right because it's too risky because of the nade. So he only has one real option, and that's to run to the left. And guess what? I'm also going to push out to the left and wide peek it, and so in order to get some clear shots on him and take him down. I peek left and I spray him down, and then there it goes, he's dead. And just like that, another 4-man squad down. Boom. So what made that possible? I was outnumbered, outgunned, and they were trying to surround me? So how did I win that? I once again isolated each opponent and fought them one-on-one, and I played them from angles where I wasn't exposing myself to another player. Basically, when I was fighting one player, I made sure from where I was that I wasn't going to get shot from another player. As soon as I killed one of them, I changed my look and I moved to a different spot. Simple. And that's pretty much it. Sometimes that's all it takes. So that's pretty much it, and that's what I got for today's video, ladies and gentlemen. I try not to let it go on for too long. I had more examples I wanted to show, but if I put them in the video, we would have been here for like an hour. So I think this will do. Yeah, I think this will do. I hope this gives you guys a better understanding of what goes on in my mind when I'm up against a squad. So then you can then take on that information on board and use it for yourself. Remember to isolate them and fight them one-on-one to the best of your ability, and don't be scared to be aggressive. If you liked the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for future content. Subscribing helps me out quite a bit, guys, and I would greatly appreciate the support. Feel free to leave a comment down below if you thought this was helpful and if you want me to do more videos like this one. Be sure to check out the live stream if you wanted to watch me for some live interactive gameplay. I stream 6 days a week at twitch.tv/Quamii. All other details will be in the description box below. Thank you all for watching until the end. I hope you learned something new. Remember to hang in there, don't give up, keep improving, stay calm, and hopefully I'll see you on the live stream.